Hello everyone, my name is Ash, my pronouns are they, he, and welcome back to another video where I will be talking a little bit about my art supplies, sketchbooks, all that kind of stuff, because I got a new little thing for my pens and pencils and all that kind of stuff that I wanted to share with you. If you are in many art journaling type of spaces like communities and the like, you may have seen the brand Lochby pop up here or there. They make like bags and journal related stuff or tool related stuff, very practical on the go type of gear. I've seen some things where they had like notebook covers with like extra pockets and whatnot, but also like pen cases and the like. So what I have here is a pen case, and I got mine from Dutch Mills, which is a web shop. I'm not sure if they have a storefront, but this is where I got mine from. I've ordered from this shop before, pretty good experience with them so far. Yeah, so we got the Lochby Tool Roll. Let's see, it's not wanting to focus. Here, Tool Roll. This is the charcoal color, I believe it's called. I'm zooming you out again. So it came in a little plastic thing. Nothing too fancy, just has the logo on it. And then this is the actual thing. I opened it up once to have a quick look. That was the right thing indeed, but not much more than that. So we have a little card attached to it, with like a thank you message. Keep creating. Nice, like that. I'll probably remove this tag and stick it in my notebook, my journal. Let me just remove that from here. Put that aside. Alright, so they come in 3 colorways. We have this black charcoal colorway. We have a tan one with an orange inside and a blue one with a tan inside, I believe. This one has... I'm not sure. This is a black with like a sand color. On the inside it has like a honeycomb type of thing. Pattern. There. On the fabric. And then these are elastic pockets. Can open it up. Can open it up like this. There's some pockets in here for things, and then a zipper pocket on the side here, which has one of those silica gel packets in there. Do not eat. I wasn't planning to. Thank you. So. Yeah, this is what it looks like. It folds up like so, and then you have this band over here, and it secures with this hook into one of those slots. There is a bend to the hook. I didn't notice that before. I guess it makes sense because if there's stuff in here, it's going to be a little bit bent, so that will help it. But when it's flat, that's... feels a little bit awkward, actually. Interesting. At first I thought maybe it got banned when I put it in my bag, but no, this is not feeling like something that bends that easily. So that's an interesting design thing. There's also a little hook in here, so not sure how that works. Maybe there's a reason for that, no clue. This is not elastic, this is just those kind of nylon-like attachments. And then there's a Lochby logo on one side. So this is the tool roll. It's like a pencil case, but you can also use it for other tools that you use, be it things like lighters or what do you call them? Pocket knives, other tool related things, or you can put your pens in here. We have 2 very large elastics, 3 medium and 4 small ones. So let's see how my things fit in here. I got this one because I have been using, let me grab this, these zipper pouches for my fountain pens. This is one by Gale Leather. I have another one of these, same amount of slots, and then a bigger one as well. And I really like this when I'm just using fountain pens, but since I've been doing more art related things recently as part of my getting back into art and working on my enrollment assignments for art school, I've been using my pencils and stuff like that more, and I realized I want to have those type of things on my person more as well. So I've had this one for, I want to say, at least 7 years now. I got this way back from like AliExpress, and it folds up like so, and then there's this fake leather strap you can tie it up with, and then I added one of those press buttons to close it up more easily and properly. But I don't like this material. It's like a felt material. It just feels cheap and gets kind of gross because, well, I have multiple cats, and you know, the hair sticks to everything and it makes it feel gross, and I don't know, it's just not really ideal. So I figured something like this that's a bit more, I don't know, sturdy, I suppose, might work better. So let's take out all of my pencils. And then the fountain pens that I've been using it. And I will probably keep using this for other pencil things that I don't use as much, but because, you know, I don't want to waste something if I don't have to. But it's just not ideal for carrying around. It's better since I added this thing, because it just makes it feel more secure and practical, but it's still not ideal. Besides, it's not very useful if I want to like have my eraser or sharpener in there as well. So this will hopefully help with that. I'm missing one. Where is it? I had it here earlier. Of course I lose it when I want it. Oh, there it is. There we go. So first let me tell you what I actually have here. Currently I am using this Fully One fountain pen with a fine nib. It has like a Jinhao fine nib. We have a Mahjong A1 with an extra fine nib, and this has my Platinum Carbon Black ink in it, which is a waterproof ink. This is a Jinhao 10, which I currently have filled with Diatramentis Document Red. It's not my favorite red, but I got a bunch of ink samples the other day of various waterproof inks, and I decided to start with that one, see how it is in use compared to on a swatch card. And then we have my Lamy Vista with also a fine nib. And this one is inked with Diamine Pine Needle. This one has my own mix of ink color in it, which is like a dark brown golden. It's not a dark brown, it's like a dark golden color, like a honeycomb, orangey, ochre-y color. Anyway, I have a lot of mechanical pencils. They're kind of my favorite to draw with. We have two of these big Criterium, which are a 2mm lead, and I have this one in the graphite color, and this is in a blue lead. I quite like these, but there's a specific thing about these that is not ideal in my opinion. This is where the eraser is hidden, which is fine and all. But on the other side, there's like a sharpener bit in here. And while you can definitely use it for that purpose, I lost my tiny point for a moment there. I found that when I do use it to sharpen the point, I will have several days where just dust keeps coming out of here, even if I tap it out properly, or think I did so properly, so not a fan of that. But it's nice that it's in there technically. But these were relatively cheap, so kind of like this. I have two of these uni mechanical pencils by Mitsubishi in 0.5 and 0.7. And then I have this Rhodia, I forgot what it's called, but it has 3 different pen things in it. So we have a red ballpoint, a black ballpoint, and a mechanical pencil lead, and I have a red one in here. So this is my little bit of everything pen. We have a Tombow Mono Zero eraser. It's a mechanical eraser. And then we have my Coeco Sport sketch, which is a 3.2 lead, I believe, which is quite a fat little thing, both in actual pen size as well as the lead size, but it's quite a neat one if you want to do a quick big sketch. So these are the ones that I currently use a lot. Actually, I think I use the big ones the most, but let me see, how are we going to put all of these things in here? First, I'm curious how well this fat one fits in here. It fits, it's snug. Might not be the ideal spot to put that one in. I think this would be a better fit. So, can I fit 2 of those in one slot? Is going to be the question. I sure can. It's going to be playing around a bit to find the most ideal configuration of what to put where. I can already tell that this might not be ideal. Alright. Okay, it might be too tight for that purpose. Which makes me think maybe I should put those in the other one. Because these fit in here quite nicely. It's starting to bunch up a little bit more because of me putting pens in there. That's interesting to see. Also makes sense, but you know. Alright, let's put these in here then. See if it's a lot nicer. And I can put this in here. I mean, I suppose I can also do it like so. And then I'll put these in this zipper pocket over here. Could even put my panko clip in there. Not sure if that would be actually practical to put in there, but I can certainly try. And then we can wrap it up like so. So that. And then this can fit in there. I can also tighten it with the strap. Alright. And now it's a neat little bundle of pens and stuff. It's a little bit of a weird, awkward size, if you ask me. And I'm also a little bit nervous because this pen is more exposed at the edge here. Which I don't mind as much with the pen because it's a cheaper pen. But it makes me think that maybe it would be nicer if this one is as flat as possible. For some reason, like adding some structure to it. So maybe I should put these pens in the middle. There's no real right or wrong with this kind of thing. Just playing around. I can put this one here instead. See if that makes any real difference. These are a little bit more loose now, but that's fine. Let's see if that makes any real difference. Alright. I do feel like it does make a difference. Not sure if it's like an amount that would really matter besides preference. It does feel a little bit more structured, flatter. It's weird to describe that way. I am thinking maybe this pen would fit better on that side, which I think is the one I just put, yeah, in a different spot. Let me see. And it's fine if those pens get a little bit scuffed in here. I would not put my expensive pens, like the Opus ones, I don't think I would put them in here. I am a little bit more precious about those pens because they cost a lot more than the other ones I have in here right now. But this feels quite nice, like a nice and compact size, and I have that panko clip in here, which takes up a bit more space, but I don't feel like it's really that bothersome. I don't know, this, on one hand, so my ideal scenario case would be like, yes, this thickness, which is just not realistic if you're taking with you this amount of pens and pencils and stuff. So that was not gonna happen anyway. But I was a little bit worried that this would get like super thick, because I have this brush roll thing. Yeah, let me So this is a tool roll for brushes, like paint brushes. And mine is quite full with a whole bunch of those. Some of these are real cheap brushes and others are more expensive. But you roll it up and then you can wrap it around like so. And, you know, keep everything nice and tidy. But because this one is made of reed, like little reeds, it has more structure to it to keep your pencils or your brushes nice. But it also becomes quite a thick roll. Hatchings. So this is a little bit hard to store at times because of that. And it's fine. I usually have it loose a little bit like so, and then I can fit it in the drawer better. But it takes up more space. But this is a nice compact size. It might not fit all types of pencils and stuff. But for now, I'm quite pleased with what I'm seeing. If I take out this guy and roll it up again, it's gonna be even flatter. Actually, I think I can just about squeeze this in, like so, yeah. That's about the difference. And then it's even flatter, more compact. So I think this is going to be quite nice to have on my person and carry with me. I will say, ideally, personally, I would have liked it if the charcoal one came with the bright orange yellow honeycomb inside, because I quite like that color. I just don't really like the tan outside. So I went with the black one. But this also looks quite nice and clean. I like that it has a zipper pocket. I quite enjoy that for my loose little things. There are these pockets which fit. This is a passport size Traverse notebook insert. It about fits that, honestly. Like, you don't have a lot of wiggle room, but it does fit. Wondering if... Okay, this one fits a little bit better, maybe because there's not as many pens in there. I've also heard people say you can fit one of those pocket painting things in there. These paint hymns. This is my little travel gouache set. It does fit, yeah. Even with the pens. I'm not sure how well that would close, but it does fit. So it definitely gets chunked up because of that, and bunches up a bit more. But I would say that's still pretty handleable size. Alright. I'm not sure if I would do this, but I could if I wanted to, which is interesting enough. I do have this small watercolor one. This used to house like a pack of cards, but I took out the cards and put these in here. So I think this would make a better fit for this type of kit because it's rather small. But I'm not planning to take those things with me anytime soon, so it's nice to know I can without it feeling awkward. But for now, this is gonna be serving me just fine. Let me just put this back on. Alright. One moment. let's have a quick look at my sketchbook things. So I'm currently using one of these A6 sketchbooks, which is intended for like pencil sketches only, I'm pretty sure, like an actual graphite sketchbook. And then I have this A5 sketchbook by Kangaro. They both have RedBubble stickers on them, and some that I print myself or got from other places, and then a bit of acrylic marker on top. So that's what that is. And then these I got from a bookshop, like yeah, pretty sure it's a bookshop. They also have like other small craft things, but it's mostly books, like published books or diaries type of thing. And then this is my old sketchbook that I used from 2021 till 2024. Don't think we will have time for that right now. But this one is the Talens art creation sketchbook. And I kind of like this one because it takes different mediums reasonably well. It's also a little bit smaller than the other one is. So if you don't like the big size, this might be quite a nice size for you. They are also reasonably cheap. I believe I was able to get another one of these just now for €6. And for how well they work, I'm really pleased with that type. But I kept seeing these Kangaro ones, and I got really curious how well those performed compared to the Talens ones. And I believe I also paid €6 to €8 for this one. And I think they have a similar amount of pages. I numbered these pages in this one. It had 162 pages, which it does not mention. It says 80 sheets, so yeah, 160. And it mentions here that it's for sketch pencil, charcoal, chalk, graphite, crayon, ink, and watercolor. And then one thing I usually do is I stick the wrapper on the inside of the sketchbook in the back. This one doesn't mention any of these types of claims, but they have the same amount of pages. This one is slightly wider, but otherwise the same size, and they have the same paperweight as well. So they're pretty much functioning the same. I think you will be able to see it if I grab one of the empty pages, because there were a few empty pages. The paper color is also pretty much the same color. It's like a cream paper. So far I've found that they perform about the same. Do they feel the same? I want to say that this one feels a little bit smoother than the Talens ones, but they perform similarly. So if you are able to get either of those, and you like messing around with different types of mediums, would recommend the Talens art creation and the Kangaro sketchbooks. These also both have hardcovers and elastics. I just have mine on the inside here. So just letting you know about that. They also both have one of those ribbons, which I find to be quite nice. On the inside, we have my first entries in the sketchbook, which is a spread that I keep adding to of tools that I like to use. I made a spelling error there. So we have my water brushes, my watercolors, and then my mechanical pencil and fountain pen. This is some swatches of various mediums, like my new acrylic markers, some pencils, watercolors, and my calligraphy pens, which if you've seen my journals and heard me complain about paper not taking my calligraphy pens well, this one didn't have any problems with that. Or there's the slightest dot of bleed through here, but I've seen so much worse. And there's also no feathering, so I'm super happy about that. And then this is the acrylic marker layered on top of itself several times. There's no bleed through or also no damage to the paper either. This is also the same acrylic marker. The pencil. Some notes for the assignment that I am working on for college at the moment. Some notes. This is a little experiment I did for a presentation type of thing. So I'm researching different paper cutout methods, like paper craft methods to do a presentation and do it interestingly without having to make a PowerPoint and do slides and stuff. So I was experimenting with this one, which, if you can see, it says, do something new every day. And then there's a happy blueberry. Because we all need happy blueberries in our lives. But I didn't do it in the ideal way, so it doesn't really work the way I did it here. But it's an interesting experiment, proof of concept type of thing. This is where I was experimenting with some inks that I got. These are the samples that I was talking about earlier with waterproof ink. I found that I believe it's writing with the Diatramentus document red that is fine, but swatches and painting with it and stuff, also with the Octopus fluid inks, it soaks into the page too much, which you cannot see because I put something on the other side of this paper. But if I zoom in, I think you will be able to see that there's some weird texture thing going on with these, with the paper, and it just didn't like it at all. But then these other ones on the bottom here are the new Diamine Forever inks, and they actually lay on pretty nicely, and they are waterproof. And I actually really enjoy these colors. Let me quickly show you the swatches on Tomoe River paper as well. The Sanson, Tomoe River paper. These are the exact same inks, but on a different paper. I'll take that one out for a moment. I think my favorite ones on this page are all the Diamine ones, but particularly the Tiger Lily, Honeypot, and Raven. And my second favorite red was the Octopus Fluids Ride and Draw Koala Red. I just find that the Diatramentus one is very washed out, but I do find that in writing with the pen, because I currently have it inked up, I have the sample, so I might as well use them, you know? But I find that in writing it bothers me slightly less, and I might change my mind about that when I ink up the Diamine ones and see how big the difference is in writing, but so far I'm quite happy with this. So this is my ink test page, kind of. I also, when I got the samples, got several empty Sailor ink bottles. These are the Sailor Manyo bottles, but I have some other Sailor inks, black inks, that come in the exact same bottles. And I like this size. They're nice and square, hold a lot of ink. But I got the empty ones because I wanted to pre-mix my own ink washes, because I used to do a lot of paintings with ink. So I wanted to get back into that type of process. So I pre-mixed some ink washes, which are these three. And while I was doing that, I was testing out some mixes on here and then tried to paint this strawberry in black and white. So that's what this is. And then here I pasted on this sticker page, which has art pieces of Wiley Backert, which is one of my favorite artists. And I want to do like an art study of her work on this page. She also does a lot of ink wash paintings with pencil, like a mixed media type of deal. So she's a big inspiration for me. And then the last thing I did in here is this sketch of the other day when I was wood carving at my desk, and there were like wood chips all over my desk around my cup of tea. So I decided, because it looks very weird but funny at the same time, I decided to sketch that scene in here. So it feels a bit random, but also I kind of like that I did that. So that's what I am currently doing here. It's not a lot because I just started using it like at the start of the month, and it's currently the 14th, so I'm exactly 2 weeks into the month, and this is what I've been doing in here. But I've been having a lot of fun with that. I also have another page saved in the back here for another artist that I found out about, that I found very inspirational, and that is Anish Kapoor. I saw like an article about him and his work, so I decided to make a little collage based on that article. So when I'm ready to work on that one, it's also going to get pasted onto a page, but I am saving it for now because I want to do IlyesY first. So that's been really fun to play around with things in my sketchbook like this, because I haven't really worked in a sketchbook for months. I want to say the last time was, what was it? Like, I don't even know when this was, probably late last year. But the last dated entry was July last year. I do believe these were like last winter about. Oh, we got September. That's the last one. So I hadn't really used the sketchbook since September until last month when I got this one and started using it. Actually, that's not true. I started using this one in February, but there's only 2 entries for February, and then I didn't use it till April. So, not an entire lie, but yeah. I got it in late January. I got another one as well, and then I only did my material tests. Got very disappointed that my fountain pens feathered with calligraphy nibs, as well as some of the other things. So most of this has been pencil or ballpoint, and then I found out that my fountain pen with platinum carbon black doesn't bleed through. Like, it goes a bit, but I can live with that. So I've just been doing these types of weird sketches here and there, or this painting I did well in a role-playing game. Some other landscape sketches, some blob figures. I really like some of these, and I hate some of the others. But it's always funny to do these things. Some face practice, just some pencil swatches. This is when I got the RTX markers, which I am quite enjoying. I just need to work with them a bit more and figure out how I like using them. Some Pokemon sketches, because I wanted to do some Pokemon drawings, which is what this one is from. I sketched a bunch of Tinkaton and then drew her. Me and my friends are a big fan of Tinkaton, so she was one of the first to make it on the page, and I was going to do a Mew next because it's one of my friend's favorites. My own favorite is Cinecoil, but haven't gotten around to that yet. And then we have some art ideas that I've had in my brain for years now. A sketch based on a painting I was working on, where I thought I want to try some more loose painting techniques. What if I use my feet to draw the underpainting and go from there with my regular painting. So that's what this is from, which I still need to finish that one, actually, because it ended up looking like this. I don't think you can see the entire thing here. This is what it ended up looking like after the first pass, and some very slight hand additions. But I quite liked the process of starting that way and just doing the whole fuck around and find out thing. Sometimes you just have to do weird shit and see what happens. This is when I was watching a ton of Caro line art videos, and she was doing a ton of sushi fish videos at some point. And I find them very funny and cute and nice looking. So I tried to do my own version of it. And I'm a very big fan of sushi, particularly deep fried sushi. So I drew a salmon with fried sushi. But it looks more like an actual fish that you might find on your plate than a cute living sushi fish that she draws. So not really the same vibe, but I had a lot of fun just messing around with that on this little page here. This is when we were watching Moonrise with friends on Netflix. And I'm a big fan of Wispy, the little robot guy, so I tried to draw him from memory after the fact. So that's what this is. I'm not sure if this is actually accurate with how he looks, but that's how I remembered him looking, minus the weird colors. That's just for fun shading type thing. This is an experiment I did with my watercolors, where I first painted my initials, AW, which stands for Ashwin. So my names. I have been doing a lot of calligraphy stuff lately, so I was thinking, oh, it would be fun to merge the two letters in one shape, like one fluid motion. So that's what I tried to do here, and then I thought, what if I sew onto the page to give it like an extra dimension, and I think that ended up pretty fun. Like, there's something about the way it looks now that adds a very interesting effect to the page or something. It's hard to explain. It's also tricky to do this in a way that doesn't tear the page and still has the stitches lie the right way, if you will. So that was a fun little experiment, which I carried on into another thing, actually. Because one of the things I've also been working on is a deck project that is surrounding the theme of the red thread, which is an expression in Dutch to denote the common theme of a story or situation. Like, everything goes back to that one thing. That's the red thread that unites the entire thing. So I have a project called The Path of the Red Thread, and I thought it was fun to sew it onto the cover. So that's what I did here. Also, I really like these stickers. These are also from RedBubble, because I really like their quality. They stay nice for a very long time. So that's what this is. And if you're curious for the other side, it looks like this. So, yeah. There's some other pages in here with thread on it, but we're not going to get into that now. But that's what this kind of inspired me to do. And it's also funny to see the other side of it, because it's technically the same shape, but it looks very different to me, at least. And this is when I was very annoyed with myself, because I am working on these assignments. And part of the assignment is to show your process working on these projects of making specific art pieces. And one thing I struggle with a lot is how all my ideas stay in my head. And I sometimes struggle to force myself to even write them out on paper or sketch them out on paper. And if I don't do that, I will not have a process to show at the end of the day for my enrollment exam, which is what they want to see, your process to get to certain ideas. But on the other hand, the other thing it's also doing is the more it stays in my head and doesn't become like a substantial thing, the less I'm able to progress on these assignments, because it all stays vague, like a very vague, abstract idea in my head, and I cannot continue from just an abstract thing. I need something on the paper or in like a experiment form or whatever. So I got super annoyed with myself for just thinking about things and not doing anything with it. So I decided to write on the page and then continue on the other side. And it says in Dutch, uit je hoofd. So uit je hoofd op papier. Which means out of your head onto paper. Which I think looks fun. It's also kind of ugly in my opinion, but it also looks fun and screams a little bit at myself. So maybe those will help me actually get started with more things than just thinking about them. And this is a continuation of that with if you leave everything in your head, there will never be progress. Show your enthusiasm, which is a combination of explosive and enthusiasm, which is a typo I made on a Facebook post I made about something I was very enthusiastically sharing, like a whole info vomit brain thing. And people were misunderstanding what I meant with that post, because in my enthusiasm, I might not have worded things the best way than if I would have just slowed down and whatever. People thought it was very funny I made that typo because it was very illustrative of how I was feeling and behaving. So I tried to draw myself like a explosive head with chaos and stuff. So that's that. And then I did some pencil tests of the pencils I still have and don't really use to see how I like them behaving on a page in case I want to test out more mixed media things. Because I see a lot of people paint something and then draw over it with pencils or crayons or that kind of stuff. And I really like the look of that. So I kind of want to experiment with it, which I slightly did here. But it's not something I do often, so I need to know how my pencils behave to be able to experiment with that. But I haven't really done much with it beside that. The only thing I did do is I had paint on one of my palettes, like watercolor paint, and I was going to clean it. So I took colors off the palette and then made blobs on the page so that whenever I come across one of these spreads, I can do it like I did here, where I can turn the blobs into things. So I have this one here, I know there's another one here, and then I believe there's another one somewhere. I thought there wasn't. There's it. So I have a couple of these in here already. There's also this thing that I just keep in here in case I need to protect the other side of the page. You know, you never know when that's going to be useful. Yeah, that's what this is. I also painted my initials the same way with acrylic paint on the back because I thought it was fun. And that's how I've been using my sketchbooks that I started this year so far, mostly in the last month abouts. And I'm very happy that I did this again, because I think what happened is I struggled a lot to get back into drawing, even drawing digitally, which I have been doing mostly the last year or years, I want to say. And I think signing up for the college course kind of put more pressure on me to actually get started with drawing again, because, you know, I have to show something, I have to do something, and my brain is very nice in being avoidant because thank you, autism and ADHD. So if there's a lot of pressure, it's very easy to get distracted with other things that are also fun or less stressful. So I think whenever I sit down to work on my assignments, instead of working on the assignments, I then draw other things or try out other things that I've been thinking about for over a year, which is not helping me for my assignments, but at least I'm still doing art, and I've noticed that since that ball got rolling with the college application, that I've been doing art almost daily, which is a weird shift, but I'm super happy about it. So I kind of feel like I should have done this sooner. Yeah. So one of the other things related to that is I showed in another video that this is the Clairefontaine H-bag notebook with plain paper. And I cut it in half, so now it's a landscape notebook. But this particular project of mine has been cooking for at least 5 years now. So I decided to start collecting all of my notes and sketches and that kind of stuff in here. So this is like a rough outline of what the project is about and all of my thinking about it and other related notes and things. And then I printed out some of the digital sketches or concepts that I made for it and put all my notes around it. Like so, to help myself get back into this project and see where I started and what things I decided on since starting, but also because I want to finish this project at some point, and I currently have sketches on my PC across at least 2 different sketchbooks, and I want to continue working on it. So instead of doing it also in this sketchbook, which I might still do that, but maybe it might be more useful if I continue doing it in here alongside with my notes related to it. So this is, for example, one of those sketches I did in my previous sketchbook, this one, that I then put the page on top of and sketched, like copy sketched, traced into here to have everything together. And then I also added this little piece of string with a bead on it to use as a bookmark, but I got plenty of pages to fill, and I think it will be fun to have everything collected in one place like this, and play around with. So if you have a big project that you've been working on for years, maybe that also could be a fun way for you to do it. I'm not saying you should, but I decided that was useful for me, even though I kind of don't want more different notebooks and stuff, but I feel like in this case it would actually be useful if I did that instead of keep spreading things across multiple places. So let's have a quick look at this one then. Well, I say quick look, but is it ever going to be quick? Probably not. So this one started in 2021, which is a little bit over, like a year and a half after my graduation. I graduated media design in 2019. We first off have a daily prompt list, which I also copied over into my one sketch a day journal. But basically how you use this is you take a die. So this one is a D4, and then we have a few D6 options as well. So I have one for medium in case I want to use different mediums. So I would roll a D4, and based on that answer, I would pick one of the mediums unless I really wanted to do a specific one. And then I would roll D6 for the subject, and based on the subject, I might roll a different one. So let's say I got people, then I can roll another one for people if I don't have a specific thing I want to do regarding people, and I can roll, for example, clothes and practice clothing, or focus on interactions between people, that kind of stuff. So if you struggle with knowing what to draw, either pick something you like or are really thinking about at that moment, or make a table of things that you're interested in or want to practice and make like a random generator. And then we have my actual sketches. Some fancy creatures in here. It's an old self-portrait from years ago. I don't look like that anymore at all. It's kind of funny to see. Some more sketches and things of characters of mine. This is a test print of some playing card designs I was working on at the time, which I actually finished this deck and it's available for sale. I'll put a link in the description below. But that was very fun to work on, and I don't really have a lot of sketches of those in here, so that's just funny to have in here to know that I was working on that at the time. A lot of these sketches are either my D&D characters or my own D&D homebrew stuff, like the winged feather folk people that we were seeing here. These guys are one of my homebrew races. Some designs and figure sketches, some more character designs and clothing stuff. This is a god that I came up with for the feathered folk. So that was I'm very happy with this spread actually, because I really like this figure, but also the sketches in the background, and I was trying to figure out how to do a perspective piece of this character, which was very hard to figure out, and I still haven't figured it out, but it was fun to play around with. Some more character designs. This is when I was drawing a character's D&D character, a friend's D&D character, and I ended up making it digitally and gave it to him as a birthday present. Some other smaller sketches. I still really like this design for a character. Never actually made that character or played them, but I called them the Masquerader. Some very tiny clothing sketches based on like a Renaissance reference. And then we have my Inktober attempt for doing the OM symbols and plants. So I was just drawing plants from reference, and then actually didn't finish it. Some more character designs. This is when I was gender bending one of my D&D characters. These are another of my homebrew race. Then we have some other characters. Some more characters, and this is another deck project, kind of, when I was designing initiative cards for the Vezin role-playing game in Foundry, which are now part of the free-to-use Vezin system in Foundry, if you're into that type of thing. Then we have some sketches that I cannot show you because they're not PG. Some other abstract thing I was thinking of doing. Some other random things. I tried to draw a dragon, which looks like shit. I was trying to figure out a tiny Merlin design. My dad is a big fan of Merlin. He has like a figurine of him. And I thought it would be funny if I had like a tiny pixel Merlin as a tattoo at some point. But I never actually went further with that. It's just a landscape thing. This is when I was trying out fountain pens in here, and I tried to mix my own ink that resembles the color of blood, because that was funny to me. And I think I've got a pretty good color at the end of the day, but yeah, it's a bit of a weird spread. This is when I was designing a headdress for trance work, so like meditation type stuff, which is like a woven band with a chainmail, like a scale mail attachment as a mask. This is one of those blob drawings, some plans from reference, and this is the kind of stuff that I want to copy into the other notebook, because this is related to that project. This is when I was trying out one of those dot grid stamps that I made myself, and I kind of hated it. This is another self-portrait attempt with a sketch of a tattoo idea I had. This is from a figurine I was wanting to wood burn. I have those wooden figures, so I wanted to make one based on the iconography of the Morgan from Irish mythology. Another D&D character of mine. Some other blob things of different weird things. I always really like these weirdo things. Like, that looks like a fish, but also a bird. And yeah, it's like the things that don't make sense are usually the most fun. Some more of those project thingies. This is one of those digital drawings I made. This is based on a guided meditation thing, so I drew various things that I saw during that. This is a embroidery project based on Hungarian embroidery. So I had a specific word Hungarian word that I translated into the Hungarian runes and then translated that into a design. So that's what this is, and then I actually embroidered that onto a pouch. That was very fun. This is when I was testing out a pen ink, where it had a red ink in it, and then I switched it into a blue cartridge and wanted to see how the color would progress if I kept writing. So that's what that is. This is when I was using plans that I found out and about as stamps, which I think is very fun. Definitely recommend trying that out sometime. This one I'm trying some watercolor stuff. This is when I was using the generator prompt thing. So this is ink creature and a bird, and I drew cats. This is ink nature fungi. Watercolor nature flowers. Gouache and textures. More blobs. This is when I went to the museum. They had an exhibition about embroidery, which was very fun to attend, so I stuck all of that in here. This is when I got my Lamy calligraphy set, and I was doing the Enshoal script as practice, and then also the Tengwar script from Lord of the Rings. Some isopods and beetles in gouache, because I rolled gouache and insects. A test print of an art piece I drew for one of my friends as a birthday gift, which is one of his characters, D&D characters. Some more plans I liked. This is when I got into fountain pen ink, like really got into fountain pens. And when I got a new bottle, I would paint like a cool bottle thing as a ink test thing, kind of, which was fun. I have more of those in here, but I didn't keep doing it after a certain point. This is more of that project that I have to collect in a different place now. Some more bottle things. Got a new ink that I wanted to test and blend with another ink for a different color. Never actually did this spread, apparently. But I believe these are gouache. A character from my homebrew, a god from my homebrew, which I really like the sketch. Something very ethereal and otherworldly about it, but also I really like the way I did the shading. Some more homebrew characters, some random bunny or squirrel things that I use as inspiration. This is a D&D character of mine. My friends kept saying that he was very Astarian coded, and I can see it, and he's also a brat, and I love him. Some more pen inks, some calligraphy stuff, because I was very into calligraphy at the time. Still am, but slightly differently now. This is when I got into lino cutting, like stamp making. So this one is based on a plant that I also drew earlier in this sketchbook. This is one of those spiritual inspired projects of mine. I actually painted this design on a ceramic piece that currently sits on my altar space. Some more stamp making things. This is a design from a Hungarian embroidery book, and I really liked it, and I wanted to put it on a different thing of mine, so I believe I stamped this on my Hobonichi weeks. Some more stamps I made after the first one, and I had basically this plan to make it into a repeating pattern. I kind of like how this worked out. And then some more small functional stamps that I made. Some more homebrew characters, design I made for a friend for his homebrew game. This is another character that I was going to play, and then we never started playing that. But I find this one to be very precious. I really like this little guy. It was supposed to be a batfolk with a there was like a mechanism in the game where you could have a card-based class. I'm really into cards, like divination cards, if you can't tell. So yeah, this is more of that bigger project that I was talking about. So I made like a weird sketch based on a concept, and then I wrote about it, and apparently I used this page as like a cutting board for stamp making, and it's all banged up. But it was fun. And this is when I was trying to experiment with marble paper making without having the proper tools, which was still fun, but very messy and not with the outcome that I hoped for. So what I did was I used water, oil paint, and dish soap. And something about it kind of worked, but it also kind of didn't. And most of all, these pages look like some weird mold situation. But there's also something kind of cool about them, so I stuck them in here. Some paper tests, pen tests, more paper tests, another one of those. And then this is me thinking about redesigning my tarot deck that I designed 5 years ago. So that's pretty much the last thing that I did in here, and then the rest is just material tests, like different pens and how they perform, different paints. So, yeah. That's all that's in here, and I don't hate the things I made in here. I did mark the edges of the paper per year, so the first year was in black, and then I had a few brown, blue, and then white. And you can see that the most pages used in this are from 2024, the least from 2022, and I think this very well resembles how my headspace has been the last couple of years. Because in 2020, I signed up for my gender transition process, and in 2021, I believe that started like late 2021. And the worst year was kind of around that. Starting was hard and tough on me, and then afterwards I started getting back into living my life properly, and I think in a weird way this is a nice way of showing that progress of kind of getting back into something that was very important to me. But also at the end of 2024 I was so done with the sketchbook and frustrated about not having finished it yet, and there's still empty pages in here, as you could have seen. So I decided to just call it quit for the year and keep it as is and start fresh with a new sketchbook. And I kind of regret waiting so long to start a new, like, full-sized one, but I'm glad that I finally made that jump now, and that I'm actually getting back into it and having fun with it again. So after having a point where art was kind of my only identity type of I'm just really glad to be reconnecting with that part of me. And the biggest point in getting back into it was just doing it again and exposing myself to other people who are having fun with it and are excited about talking about it and sharing it and all that kind of stuff. So if you struggle to get back into something you like or used to enjoy doing, I guess that's my best recommendation, to seek out things where you can hear other people be excited about the thing and do that in a way that encourages you as well. So for example, I have several art friends who enjoy sharing things they're working on, even if it's very messy sketches, and that makes me really happy to see, and then I want to join into that process. But also I've been watching a lot of sketchbook tours or draw with me videos, and found that watching other people share their process or thoughts or ideas and stuff like that, also the messy parts and the nice parts, really helps me put things into like perspective. Because yeah, the cool finished pieces are nice to see and all of that, but at the end of the day, that's not where it starts, that's where it ends. And sometimes it doesn't even end there, but it ends at an earlier stage and then you start over. So seeing the messy progress and failed things or stopping halfway points just makes everything feel more real and messy and true. I don't know if that makes sense. For me, that really helps. And then the draw with me videos are nice because it's someone in dialogue with you about making art, encouraging you to do your own thing alongside with them. I don't know, I'm not sure if I'm explaining that correctly, but for me that's very helpful, and I really appreciate the people that make that kind of content and talk about their process and all of that. Yeah, it's just nice to see the human side behind the art and not just the art for what it is I think what is inspiring to me, to see the connection, the thinking, the love and the passion behind something that is so personal, but that we all put out there when we make art. So yeah, I'm excited to get back to drawing, which is what I am not going to be doing today. I think I will be doing weird paper cutout projects instead. But I'm going to be having fun with that while I do it, and I hope you're going to be doing something that you love doing, that makes you excited and feel alive, even if it's messy and ugly. Just do something that you enjoy. And yeah, I want to say something, but I can only think of saying it in Dutch. I was going to say ik gun het je, which means I wish it for you. I don't know if that's the correct translation. I cannot come up with the correct translation, but I think you might get what I mean, hopefully. Anyway, I hope you have a lovely time, whatever time of day it is for you, and I wish you all the luck in doing whatever it is that you want to do more of, and I hope this video encourages you to start trying again. Even if it's a minute that you put a timer on today, I hope you can make it work. And even better if you can share it with someone else. Maybe that will be your motivating factor. With that said, I'm gonna log off because otherwise I'm gonna make like a 5-minute goodbye segment. And no one's here for that, so bye.